Okay, everyone can hear me fine? Not too loud? Not too soft? My name's Todd Burgess. I work for Forest Nova Scotia. Has anyone ever heard of Forest Nova Scotia before? Oh, good. I'm glad. That's why I'm here. Now, my presentation is going to be a little bit different than some of the other ones you've already seen, or maybe some of the ones you're going to hear coming up. I'm going to talk about some of the problems we're facing here in Nova Scotia. So, as I get started, I don't want you to be discouraged. It may sound like a discouraging presentation right from the start, but I promise you there is hope at the end. Forestry right now is going through an immense amount of struggle. Some of you as woodlot owners may have discovered it already. Glenn, you harvested, and I heard him give out $1,000 an acre, and then he had to take some costs out of that. And I'm thinking, oh no, is that all he's making? Really, about 20% of $1,000? So, you know, $200? That's what he's making for 15 years of growth? And I'm thinking, okay, woodlot owners need to make more money than that. That's just one problem. I'm going to list a few more. But before I start listing some of those problems we have in forestry, I'm going to list 15 of them. And I can guarantee you that each one of you have another 15 problems, either in your life or in your woodlot, that can go on top of that. And some of them you will agree with me on, and some of them you won't agree on. But some of the problems we all have together collectively. Some of them you can solve on your own. Some of them our organization can solve by ourselves, but most of them it's going to take a collective effort. So far in forestry, we've operated in silos, and maybe this message may not land perfectly with some of you being woodlot owners, but with all of the organizations in Nova Scotia, we've got a number of them. Historically, we've operated in silos because we have these disagreements, or people in the West don't agree with some of the issues of people in the East, and all kinds of different reasons. But I can guarantee you there are more things that I agree with all of you. There are more things that we agree with and have common ground on. We can come together on those common issues and solve some of these forestry issues. Here's one of the biggest ones: lack of low-grade markets. Has anyone noticed that? Probably one of the reasons why Glenn didn't make very much money on his woodlot is because he wasn't able to sell some of his low-grade wood. Stumpage prices are falling. Sometimes they rise, sometimes they fall. Public support for forestry sometimes varies. Sometimes it's high. Right now, it's kind of high. Sometimes it's really low. There's fewer trained workers. I don't know if anyone has tried to contract a contractor. And one of the reasons why you may not get a contractor is they can't find employees to help, so they're behind schedule. Government support for programs are at risk. I don't know if anyone else paid attention to the provincial budget recently. Does anyone pay attention? Okay. There were some cuts out there because the government is running a deficit. So there's a lot of pressure for government programs. So we need to figure out a way to actually support the forest sector without having to rely on the government. If we can actually perform and make some income from our own woodlots and from our own forest sector, we'll be way better off. There's pressure for more protected areas. So by the end of, I think it's by the end of this year, we're supposed to get to 15%. By 2030, I think it's 20% has to be in protected areas. In some provinces, 30% of their area, of their forest land, is to be protected. That's tough. Shrinking forest sector. Fewer mills, fewer contractors, maybe few active woodlot owners means there's fewer options to sell your products. I'm only on number 8. Some of you may not agree with some of these, and I know there's others. There's insects coming into the province. Some of them are native, some of them are not. Contractors are struggling, are not available. We've got aging landowners, and I can tell you, not everyone are spring chickens in here. There's problems, there's benefits to that. There's lots of experience, but there's also some issues. One of them being taxes. So if you were counting on your woodlot for some retirement income, and then all of a sudden you need to harvest, and now all of a sudden potentially your old age security or your Canada pension plan becomes at risk. So there's options, and there's problems with high taxes and aging landowners if you're maybe trying to pass your woodlot down to your family. Forest fires are coming. We heard it from a couple presentations this morning. There's more windstorms coming. This is what I mean, it feels kind of negative, doesn't it? U.S. tariffs, now there's nothing any of us can do about that. There's a few things we can do if we work collectively. And you need to buy groceries and pay your mortgage. And those are just 15 issues. I know each one of you could come up with another 15. So, you can't control or fix them all, but you need to decide, as a landowner with your own land, what issues you think you can have impact on, make a decision, and don't worry about the rest, and decide where you may have impact, and then join forces to actually try and solve some of those problems. That's sort of the philosophy I go with Forest Nova Scotia. What are the impacts that we can actually do in the forest sector? Join forces with people that can help us do that, form alliances, and let's get to work and fix some of those problems. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about Forest Nova Scotia. Right now we've got about 800 plus members. Everyone from landowners, Christmas tree growers, maple syrup producers, contractors, pellet mills, sawmills, energy producers. But 85% of our members are small woodlot owners, people like you. We've been the voice or the advocate for the forestry sector province-wide since 1934, but I've heard this lots. Some people will say, well, Todd, you don't speak for me. Well, I think we can. If we join forces and the broader sector will pay attention to some of the really big issues and the solutions that we can have from Forest Nova Scotia. That doesn't mean other groups can't exist. I think we need to work closer together to make that happen. This is one of the campaigns we did a few years ago. I don't know if anyone recognizes it. I've been at these conferences before, and I've shown this picture. Wood products build our best memories. So that was something we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this program. Advertising on the television, on the radio. There's more effective ways to do it, but you may have recognized that. You may not have recognized it, because that was targeted for a younger generation. It was targeted for married couples between 20 and 35 that had kids. We have a forestry podcast called Forestry Uncut. How many people listen to podcasts? Okay, so I'm going to say a third. First of all, I would recommend pick up a couple podcasts on a subject maybe you like and listen to them. I would recommend Forestry Uncut. We've done 2 episodes. It's the reason I like it is we can have your attention for 15 minutes to 30 minutes and actually listen to it without it being interrupted and without, I know when CBC does a story, they'll go interview someone over here and they'll say what their opinions are, and then they'll go way over here on the other side and get someone who doesn't think anything like that and get another opinion over here, and then they'll write a story that's down the middle. Well, down the middle, it really isn't the truth either. It's not the left or the right, it's somewhere in the middle, the story gets all mixed up. This is where I like a podcast. You can sit there for 15, 20 minutes and get the real story out of the person that we're interviewing. I'm on the 2nd season as the narrator. First season was Aaron Trafford. I like it. I would recommend you look at it. Go to our website. You can click to it there. We've got a YouTube channel. You can go to our social media channels and find it. Our Trees program. This is a program where we hand out seedlings. And believe me, some people may think this is silly, but we've gone to farmers markets and we've gone to community groups. And we're handing out seedlings. We give out about 10,000 seedlings a year. People sign up for it, and people think they're saving the world by planting a seedling. And when they say, oh, they're so excited, they're going to store so much carbon with this tree, they're going to plant in their backyard, and it's, I'm glad they think that. We all know that they're not going to save the world by planting the seedling, but this is the real truth, and this is what makes it work. It's a chance for that person to have a one-on-one conversation with me or someone else standing in front of them about forestry. And I've had a number of conversations where I hand the seedling to them. Hey, do you have a woodlot? Yeah, but I've never been on it. What? What do you mean you've never been on it? And I've met a number of people who own woodlots that's been passed, their grandfather passed away, was passed down to them, and they've never been on their woodlot. Really? There are a bunch of people out there like that. That's why I put the aging landowner thing up on my first list. We support the Atlantic Teachers Tour. This is a group of teachers from 2 years ago in New Brunswick, where we take them around and we show them we show them forestry operations, we show them high production forestry, where there's clear cutting, planting, maybe even herbiciding. We also show them selective harvesting lots. We take them to a woodlot where the only thing the woodlot owner is interested in growing is mushrooms. They grow big logs and they put mushrooms, and then we take them and you can do this with your woodlot as well. So we show them the full gamut so that we educate the teachers properly about all the options and what everyone's facing in the forestry sector. This August, it's coming to Bridgewater. We were supposed to have it in Bridgewater last year. It didn't happen because of the forest ban. They're coming back this year. We're going to have 40 teachers and we're going to be touring them around. This is an incredible program. When we have teachers fired up about forestry and they go back into their schools, they're teaching their kids about forestry. Or when someone says something wrong about forestry, the teachers are at least somewhat educated. Or if they don't know the answer, they know who to call. The Atlantic Teachers Tour is an incredible tool. If you ever hear someone that wants support with that or says, I went to the teacher's tour, can you help me out in my class? That's a teacher worth supporting. We do other community outreach meetings. So I'm speaking at each one of these woodlot events. We also host 4 town halls throughout the province. We put out a monthly newsletter. I speak at a number of different conferences talking about forestry. All that being said, we've got a ton of different organizations in the province, and we have to figure out how to be more efficient. Because right now the province has done some cuts, but they are putting their faith behind natural resources: forestry, fishing, farming, mining. We are forestry. And the province is putting some support behind forestry organizations, and we need to come together and we actually have to start delivering. The province needs growth, they need jobs, they need to produce revenue. We cannot continue to have a $1.2 billion deficit in a province our size. So we have to actually make some efforts and produce some revenue. We can find enough common ground with all the different groups. We can work together and make that happen. So we actually have a road program. Normally it would be about $700,000 a year. It used to be woodlot owners could get $1,500. A couple of years ago it changed where woodlot owners could get $5,000 a year. Well, guess what? We would have 700 applications for that road program. Okay, so we pissed off more people than we actually helped, believe it or not. People would apply and we'd said no to more people than not. This year we've actually have a budget of $2.5 million. So if you need a road on your woodlot, I recommend you apply. It is worth it. Roads are one of those things that cost you money to manage your woodlot, but once you have a road in there, you can do all kinds of things. Silviculture, you can do some harvesting, you can go get your firewood, and it protects your woodlot. And now you have, yes, you can find excuses not to do anything on your woodlot, but it reduces the excuses so you can actually manage your woodlot. So it is coming. Next couple weeks, I'm not sure. It's going to be as soon as we get the budget tells us we can go. Things you may not see. We actually work with the Forest Products Association of Canada to ensure our efforts are consistent with other organizations across the country. We administer the Atlantic Lumber Board. For those of you that don't know what that is, Nova Scotia has a tariff-free export our lumber into the United States, unlike the rest of the country. The rest of the country pays 45% tariffs. We pay, right now it's 10%. Hopefully it's going to be 0 shortly. There's reasons for that. We administer the program that actually helps reduce those tariffs for Nova Scotians. We administer Nova Scotia's forestry charity and the Nova Scotia Forestry Association. We have a new membership portal. If you want to become a member of Forest Nova Scotia, we have a membership portal on our website. You can go in there. There's going to be some benefits that I'm going to quickly talk about, insurance being one of them. We're going to have a service provider directory. So if contractors sign up, become a member of Forest Nova Scotia, you're going to be able to click there and say, where are there, who plants trees in my area? You can click on it and you can get a list of contractors that plants trees. Who builds roads? You'll be able to get a list of who plants roads. What are consulting foresters? You'll get a list of foresters or technicians that can actually do management plans. So we'll have that built in. That's coming in the next month or so. But right now you can go in and register and actually have your resume in there. So when someone's looking for work, they can go in there and find a service directory. We actually had, so on April 9th, just a couple days ago, we released a Woodlot insurance program. So you can go on our website and under the insurance program and click on it, and it'll take you through a number of things. You can get standing timber insurance, so against wind or fire, disease on your woodlot, protecting your standing inventory. If you've invested in silviculture and your plantation fails, you can get insurance against silviculture failures and a number of other things. So this is kind of a first time for woodlot owners, and we're coordinating with the Canadian forest owners across the country. I'm actually kind of excited for Nova Scotia because we're much more risk than a lot of woodlot owners across the rest of the country. So that is something very valuable there. We do a lot of collaboration with some other groups. That's my information. Sorry it was so fast. Does anyone have any questions? None? Great. Thank you.